The first time Captain Ross Thorne met Commander Viral of the Serac Dominion, she was pointing a plasma blade at his throat. Her amber eyes burned with contempt, and her ridged blue skin glistened from the heat of battle. They'd been caught in a crossfire between retreating human forces and an advancing Serac patrol. Ross had no choice but to use the emergency stasis beacon, intended for escape pods, inside a half-demolished bunker. Unfortunately, it enveloped both of them. Now, deep beneath the ruined crust of Elia Prime, they were trapped together inside a flickering, malfunctioning survival dome. Outside, the storm raged. Inside, the temperature dropped steadily as the power core sputtered. "Don't you dare touch me, human," she spat, watching him fumble with a ration pack. Ross raised an eyebrow. "Relax. I'm trying to stay alive. You can stab me after the storm ends." Viral's lip curled. "Your kind always believes in survival above honor. And yours would rather die just to prove a point," Ross muttered. For hours they sat back to back, arguing in spurts between tense silences. But as the temperature dropped further, breath visible in the air, they were forced to huddle together. Her armor was sleek but offered minimal insulation. His jacket only did so much. "Body heat," he explained, arms wrapped around her. "It's basic biology." "I know what it is," she hissed, but she didn't pull away. Their proximity stirred a strange current between them. Her breathing slowed. Her ridged brow furrowed less. And just before sleep overtook her, she whispered in her native tongue, soft, husky words Ross didn't understand. "Middle." They survived the night. When morning came and the dome system stabilized, Viral avoided his gaze. She was back to commanding again, tall, proud, and lethal. But Ross noticed how she hesitated before standing up, how her fingers lingered near his jacket when he offered it. "You're not like the others," she finally said as they prepared to navigate the storm-torn surface. Ross tilted his head. "Human or soldier?" "Both." They trekked across glass plains and crumbling ridges toward the emergency beacon at Outpost Kilo 7, each step dogged by bitter winds and occasional plasma bursts from roaming drones. Somewhere between dodging aerial mines and sharing dehydrated stew, something changed. Ross saw past her rigid training and cold authority. He saw the pain behind her eyes, the burden of command, the pressure of being perfect for her people. Viral wasn't just a warrior. She was a weapon forged by fear and tradition. And she saw something in him too. He wasn't just a brawler or a brute. He patched her wound with careful fingers when shrapnel tore her leg. He joked to lighten her mood when panic crept in. He risked drawing fire to redirect a drone away from her trail. One night, after narrowly escaping a collapsed trench, they found shelter in a natural cavern. Viral stood near a flickering thermal lamp, inspecting her wound. "You saved me again," she said, voice low. Ross shrugged. "Comes with the job." "No," she replied, eyes narrowing. "The job says you should have left me. I'm your enemy." He stepped closer. "Maybe that's not how I see you anymore." She stared at him for a long, unblinking moment. And then, in the quiet glow of the lamp, she kissed him. It wasn't gentle. It was a collision, desperate and confused. Her hands gripped his collar. His arms wrapped around her waist. For a moment the war disappeared. But afterward, she recoiled as if struck. "I don't know what you've done to me, human," she growled, breath shaky. "Whatever it is, don't do it again." Ross didn't answer. He just turned away, jaw clenched, trying not to look wounded. Later, they reached Outpost Kilo 7 days later. Human forces had just re-established control, and Viral was immediately detained. Ross argued, pleaded even, but protocol was ironclad. Serac commanders were high-value prisoners. He didn't see her for weeks. Back on Earth, Ross was debriefed and offered promotion for surviving hostile cohabitation with a Dominion officer. He refused. Instead, he filed motion after motion through diplomatic channels, demanding Viral be treated as more than just an enemy. That she had helped him survive. That she'd changed. The media caught wind of it. Suddenly, he wasn't just a survivor. He was a headline. Human captain defends alien warrior. Is peace possible? Viral, however, remained silent. Confined in a high-security facility, she refused interviews and ignored all correspondence. Until one day she asked for him. Ending. Ross found her in a sterile, windowless room, clean but cold. She wore a plain black uniform, her hair cropped short now, her posture less regal. But those amber eyes still burned. You look different, he said, trying to sound casual. You look stubborn, she replied, though a flicker of something, fondness, touched her expression. They stood in silence for a moment. I read your reports, she said finally. You argued I wasn't a threat. You weren't, he said quietly. Not to me. She studied him. I wasn't supposed to feel anything, Ross, she admitted. We're taught emotions are weaknesses. Yet when I think of that cave, of your warmth, she stepped closer. Whatever you did to me, her voice wavered. Do it again. This time the kiss was slower, gentle. A surrender not of defeat, but of choice. Months later, when peace talks began between the Dominion and the Allied Human Coalition, both sides demanded a liaison from the other to ensure good faith. The room fell silent when Commander Viral entered, dressed in neutral grays, and took her place beside Ross. Some called it madness. Others called it diplomacy. But when she reached for his hand under the table, Ross only smiled. Because sometimes peace doesn't begin with treaties. It begins with the courage to feel.